everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott. It's time for the Almost Friday show for November 18th, 2010.
Kicking it off and off the press, we're checking out 2 new trailers. We're looking at Cowboys and Aliens.
Which I wanted to be Cowboys versus Aliens, and I was convinced it was, because that's awesome, but apparently it's a play off Cowboys and Indians.
I guess.
It looks really cool, though.
It does,
Yeah.
and it's got James Bond in it.
And Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So I saw that. I saw Aliens and Cowboys, and I was in. I was sucked in.
We're also checking out the Green Lantern trailer.
Which a lot of people have been waiting for.
And I think it's kind of hit or miss. Some people are excited, and some people are like, he looks like he's fake. Because ultimately his entire suit's green screened, so...
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll have to see
I'll
how
wait
it goes.
And see. Yeah.
So these are both first run trailers, so we'll see if it gets more compelling. I mean, I think Cowboys and Aliens has sold us, but...
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
It could be terrible. I'm going to see it opening night. Speaking of first runs, from the gutters, we've got 2 number 1 comics to talk about.
We're checking out Spider-Girl number 1.
Which Dave has taken an interest in,
Yes.
to say the least.
And we're also checking out Batman Incorporated, which I think is a new sort of take on the Batman universe.
So if you're looking to start up a new series, might be a good one for you.
Definitely. In Tech Insight this week, we're checking out Facebook's new messaging system.
Yeah! They've been doing announcements all over the place lately. They're like,
Hey,
hey, new stuff from Facebook all the time.
Let's just have a whole bunch of press conferences.
And they're all really brief, and everyone just makes fun of Zuck the whole time.
Yeah. Everyone always makes fun of Zuckerberg, though.
I know. Like, hey, having a conference? Ha ha ha. No. If Steve Jobs did it, like, sweet, what's he going to say?
I'm lining up. And
Yeah,
then Mark
no.
Zuckerberg's like, please come to my
Yeah,
conference.
can take me seriously? We have new features.
So they've announced some sort of new email integration system.
Kind of.
If you're a Facebook fan, you'll probably like it, but we'll tell you a little bit more in Tech Insight.
Yep. And we're also going to tell you about the Galaxy Tab, which is actually for sale now in Canada.
Yep.
I think we beat the States, or very close to
something
similar.
like that.
Which is kind of cool. A little pricey, but it's there, which is nice. Especially when you're up north. We don't get a lot of things.
In Mad Science, Scott's excited because Star Trek's becoming more realistic.
We took a step towards Star Trek today. Zephram Cochrane would be proud. Basically, the guys over at CERN have figured out how to capture antimatter briefly and for little bits. But that big step towards my warp core.
We'll tell you what that means in Mad Science.
And behind the lens, we've got a pile, like literally
A pile.
of gear from Cinovate to show you.
Yeah. Checking out a slider and a rig system and some other cool stuff.
Yeah, so if you're into DSLR video, really video at all, and you rigging kind of supplies, stay tuned.
All right, so without further ado, it's time for Off the Press.
Hey everyone, welcome to Off the Press. Starting off this week, some really exciting trailers. Well, exciting, your actual excitement may vary.
It's an exciting time, though, I think,
It's
for
a
trailers.
very exciting time for
We're
trailers.
getting a lot of trailers in just before the holiday season, and there are a lot of them that...
Are coming out spring, summer, fall
Yeah.
2011.
And
which-
whether they actually look like good movies or not, it's exciting to see them. There's a lot of big special
There's a
effects
lot
showing up
of-
in trailers right now.
I'm going to be very broke next spring, summer, fall, because I'm going to be seeing a new movie like every week.
Yeah.
So the first trailer we're going to talk about is Cowboys and Aliens, starring Daniel Craig and directed by Jon Favreau, the guy that did Iron Man.
Yes, and it's also got...
Harrison Ford? Bruce
Yeah.
Willis.
Yeah.
No, Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So we're just going to show you a bit of the trailer now and check out some of the cool action scenes.
Is it demons? Why are you asking me?
We're coming back! We're coming back!
So there we go. We've got a bit of... we showed you a little bit of the footage there. Not a lot of aliens. Saw
Not
some
yet.
spaceships. Saw some cool actors.
Some cool action scenes too in
Yeah.
this trailer.
I thought, after having seen the trailer, I'm very excited about this
Oh, yeah.
movie. I like Harrison Ford's. He didn't seem as grandpa-ish and lost and befuddled as I was afraid I was going to see him.
Yeah.
And Daniel Craig, oddly enough, I like Daniel Craig. He looks a little weathered now, and I kind
A
of like
little
that
bit.
look for him.
I'm also a little bit worried because I haven't heard his American accent, but an actor of that caliber, I'm guessing he's got a pretty good American accent. So
And you know what? They seem to be hiring better accent trainers in
Yeah.
Hollywood
Oh,
lately.
much better.
That Americans can be doing so many
British roles and
New
vice-
Zealand,
Yeah.
whatever, like all these different nationalities. So that's encouraging.
Yep,
I
so
like that.
this-
And sorry,
Go ahead.
the special effects I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I love spaceships when they show up,
Yeah.
wink out, and it's like what the, and then they fazoom bop,
So this movie is supposed to
Pew,
come
pew,
out
pew.
summer
pew
2011.
pew 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 pew.
And another movie with a lot of pew pew action that's coming out also in 2011 is the Green Lantern movie starring Ryan Reynolds with a trailer that we're not too excited about. Well, yes and no.
It's okay. No, there are very cool aspects about this. This is a comic book movie, and we were talking about this earlier. And a comic book big budget movie should look better than this trailer
Yeah.
did.
Like this movie looks like it could be a fun movie and a good movie, except its main downfall will be the special effects. Because they're relying so much on the special effects to make the costumes and the other alien Green Lanterns and probably the villains and stuff too.
A lot of it is green screen,
Yeah.
including the outfit for Green Lantern for Hal Jordan. I do have a couple of complaints about that sort of thing. But first of all, in terms of the special effects, Sean had a really good point earlier. Iron Man, the first trailers that we saw when he was
Yeah.
putting on the suit, cool, it looked awesome.
Yeah.
But the special
Wasn't-
effects were not as
Wasn't
sharp.
quite polished.
Yeah, it wasn't quite polished. So I've got my fingers crossed. I am hoping that the special effects will end up being rendered a little more
Yeah.
in depth as we progress closer to the release date. So, other than that, though, one of my big problems was, and I read a fair number of comics, as some of you know, the Green Lantern character, Ryan Reynolds, is not green. Ryan Reynolds would be great for characters like Plastic Man, something like that.
Yeah.
Should not be Wally West. He would make a great Wally West.
I don't read very many DC comics, but the ones I do, Green Lantern is not. I always imagined him being a bit older, kind of.
He typically is
Not
pictured
as-
as having the white hair on his
Yeah,
temples.
not as skinny, but we'll show you a clip of the trailer now. You get a look at the CG. So here it is.
Your name. Hal Jordan. The ring. It chose you. Use its power to defend our universe. Become one of us. Become a Green Lantern.
The ring said it was a great responsibility. Responsibility? You? Let's hope so.
Anything I see in my mind, I can create. The one thing that a Green Lantern is supposed to be is fearless. That isn't me.
You had the ability to overcome fear.
Wow. I know, right? Woo!
So that's our look at the trailer. He's not Hal Jordan. He's not. Maybe Kyle Rayner, who is later a more recent
You
Green
should have
Lantern.
cast Nathan Fillion.
Really should have.
I
Really
know,
should have.
really should've.
But the
Anyway.
costumes, when it's a completely CG environment, looks cool.
But near
But-
the end of the trailer, when he looks really rubbery. But
I know, right?
So, speaking of sort of rubbery, kind of ugly costumes, the first pics of the Spider-Man musical costumes were released last week.
Yep. The picture's taken by Annie Leibovitz,
Yep.
who is not new to photography. She makes mundane things look really cool. They just
The
infuse
villains,
them with
the villains
personality.
in this musical look like villains from like 1960s Japanese giant monster movies.
They do.
And then the heroes in this movie, their costumes, just going by these pictures, their costumes look like they should be walking the runways of Paris or something. Like, this is not a Spider-Man musical.
It's
This-
not a $60 million musical.
No, like,
The costumes should look much better.
right now we're not seeing any special effects. We haven't really heard that many songs, and we're not seeing these costumes in motion. So just going by the pictures, I'm a little bit skeptical.
Yeah,
But
I'm worried. Yeah.
Once we see it,
All right.
maybe, I don't know.
Okay, up next we got...
Cowboy Ninja Viking,
Oh,
maybe.
Really?
Yep, so...
I thought it was... Okay, so it's still in the air,
It's
so we don't know
still
for sure.
up in the air, but rumor has it that Disney is in talks with the writers of Zombieland to bring this really exciting, kind of funny comic to the big screen.
Now, the Zombieland people are saying that their first big devotion right now is the sequel to Zombieland.
Yep, Zombieland 2. So
So,
there's no release date for this movie, but if they're doing Zombieland 2, that probably puts this movie in like 2013 or something.
yeah, the comic is good, but slow, very slowly paced.
Oh yeah.
But I think there's enough that you can squish it into
Yeah,
quite a decent movie.
You can easily condense this into a pretty action-packed, pretty hilarious 2-hour
Yeah,
movie.
it'd be good. All right, and that takes us
now
back on
moving
to
on
oh,
Another rumor, Zac Efron, who is an all right actor. Okay, I'll give him that. But he is rumored to be the star of the Warner Brothers American remake of the Akira movie.
wait,
Which-
Akira, which is obviously going to be set in Tokyo, right?
No way, it's gonna be set in New Manhattan. This is in heavy rumor land. There's like rumor land, and then there's this rumor land, and there's
It's
like
like
possibility land.
the ethereal
Yeah.
rumorland.
So there's really not much news about this except for maybe possibly Zac Efron, maybe possibly set in New York.
Not
Question mark.
Not so, right now. The rumors are not getting me. They're if anything, getting me unexcited and uninterested in seeing the movie.
I think Zac Efron is a good actor. He could probably do this role. A lot of it will be hinged on the direction of the director and what this movie is going to look like visually, and like the
Well,
feeling of this
the
movie.
apocalyptic landscape we
Yeah.
know can be done. We've seen it done
It's-
a number
it
of
can be
times,
done
and
well,
it can
but-
also be done kind of on the cheap.
Yep,
So that's not what I'm worried about. The one thing I'm really worried about is
Zac Efron.
casting,
The Americanism.
and setting.
So
All right.
we're just going to close out the segment with this week's new releases.
Oh,
Starting off in the theater this week, the highly anticipated second last Harry Potter movie, Harry Potter and the
first
Deathly
part of the
Hallows.
last bit.
Part 1 comes out in theaters yesterday if you're watching this when we're released. Or today if you're watching this now somehow. So Friday.
The second thing we're going to be we're going to be bringing up is Avatar 3-disc special edition.
Released on Blu-ray and DVD this past Tuesday.
Shiny, very shiny. Got
3.5
extra
hour
footage.
long movie.
There's extra makeout parts too.
Bow, chicka, bow.
Bow, chicka, bow.
And something that's really exciting for the holiday shoppers. So a metric ton of Blu-ray movies, or 3D Blu-ray movies, was released this past Tuesday. So there were about 7 IMAX movies. So that's the stuff you would have seen at the IMAX theater, like the educational IMAX movies,
Right.
as well as a couple of Disney movies in 3D and some action movies, like big Hollywood blockbusters in 3D.
Cool.
Which it means that 3D movies, there's about a dozen of them to choose from, anywhere from kids movies to action movies to educational movies. So that's kind of a good start for 3D and for people buying 3D this Christmas season. And in video games this week, we have Need for Speed Hot Pursuit for Xbox and PS3, and the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood also for Xbox and PS3, which comes with an awesome collector set, just saying.
This week we have music news.
Huge music news this
Well,
week.
not.
Well, huge if they
It's
want...
huge in terms of dollars.
Yeah, they want you to think it's huge. So, Beatles on iTunes.
Okay, and we're done.
Yeah, meh.
Yeah.
So that's it this week for Off the Press.
All right, everybody, welcome to another week of From the Gutters. I'm going to be reviewing 2 books this week, both number 1s. The first one's going to be Spider-Girl, and the second one will be Batman Incorporated. A couple interesting things about both of them. The first one, though, Spider-Girl, written by Paul Tobin, penciled by Clayton Henry. The cover is done by Barry Kitson. Don't worry about the cover. She doesn't have a mullet. I thought she did have a mullet. And it's beautiful, beautiful poster. They had a promo poster of this big up on the wall. And no, she does not, in fact, actually have a mullet. Thank goodness. It's really good, though. I was surprised by this book. The story is basically an introduction to a reintroduction. Anya Corazon is formerly Spider-Girl. She had powers, lost powers. Now she is a powerless person, but she does have web spinner-like things that allow her to swing around the city. And it is an introduction to what the big story arc is going to be. What happens in this one is after she beats up a few thugs and has an almost lunch with Sue Storm, who doesn't know that she's actually Spider-Girl, she ends up at the end of the book finding out, oh my goodness, that's what's going on. We have to fight this person. It is very much a classic thug arresting, thug beating up, web slinging comic book. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. And in fact, on the cover it says, "Warning, the only thing standing between you and the most synapse-shattering superhero debut of the decade are your hands and this cover." And it was pointed out to me, this is very much a very Stan Lee-esque kind of thing to put on a cover of a book. So, the artwork, but the writing is very good. I really enjoyed the dialogue, and I really enjoyed the plotting and the pace and all of that. So, Mr. Tobin, well done. The artwork, done by Clayton Henry, is really nice. We got a really nice job here. And what I liked most about this is that Spider-Girl looks like an actual human. She hasn't been all sexed up. She's not a supermodel 14-year-old, you know? And I really like that about this book. It was surprising. There's so many things about this book that are subtle and surprising. What do I give this book? I give this book a B+. Could have been better, but not without big name talent. And these guys, Tobin and Henry, they're producing a book that I will definitely be coming back to read next month. All right, now we are going to be reviewing Batman Incorporated, number 1. Batman is back. For those who didn't know, Batman was dead, or at least he appeared to be dead. He had to travel through time, and well, that's about it. But he sort of had his eyes opened in terms of fighting crime. He has been devoting billions of dollars to fighting street-level crime in one city. Now he's making a corporation, and he is training new Batmen. So the first issue starts off in Asia, and this is written by Grant Morrison, illustrated by Yannick Paquette, Canadian. I would not have chosen Yannick Paquette, but he seems to be trying to ape some of the more well-known cheesecake artists. I saw a little bit of Adam Hughes in here. Someone else was reading it earlier today, and they're like, "Oh wow, all the women have high butts," and I was like, "I don't know what you mean." Oh, I see. Okay. And in fact, one of the very first pages we see Catwoman, and here we go. Bum bum bum. Yes, there it is, right there. She's got a high butt. She does, in fact, have rather high-riding buttocks. That being said, the art in this was Yannick is showing some good chops. I think he's done a good job. He's maturing as an artist. Grant Morrison's writing is surprisingly untrippy. He is typically someone who will test the tastes of his readers. By that I mean he will try to do something that is cyberpunk. And I don't know if anyone knows anything about cyberpunk writing, but it tends to be a little disjointed, tends to be a little confusing. Grant Morrison, in this book, wrote a very clear, concise story. Batman shows up. There's a villain, which oddly enough is a villain that appeared in the Batman manga, and he just added Lord to the beginning of his name. So there's a little bit of a Batman culture callback being used there. And then at the end of the end of the book, there's a moment where I actually laughed out loud, and the manager at the store, he was like, that's what I love about a comic. And I was like, you know what, you're right. That's a moment. I love getting to the end of a book, having a laugh, and that makes me want to read it again next month. This book, I give it a B+. Again, this is another book where I'm very interested in seeing what Batman's adventures are like, trying to train new Batman around the world. That is about it this week. That's 2 books. I'll be seeing you soon from the gutters.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. We're kicking it off with some Facebook news because they've been having tons of that recently.
They like press conferences and they like announcing new things. They've got, they had a minor press conference about groups and like their new
And how the
app.
iPad wasn't mobile.
Yeah, but their mobile thing that did was. Oh, we updated our app a little bit. I didn't get that.
Which,
at
on that
all.
topic, I would just like to say how much I now hate groups. Now that
Yeah, it's a little annoying.
I accidentally, joined one, and then it was like every 5 minutes I was getting some message by someone who was in that, and I was just like, oh god, I gotta leave this group.
Yeah, it's not great. Anyway, this week's Facebook the press conference of the week new
Yes.
segment. They've released a new messaging system. This is actually kind of cool.
I think it's going to be really popular with hardcore Facebook users,
Yeah.
which
So-
there are a lot of those.
Yeah. So basically, Facebook, Zuckerberg came out and said, "Look, email's old school. We don't think people are using email for communication anymore." And to some degree, I agree.
Well, they think that they're actually using email for communication in a different way. They think that people are doing emails where it's like, hey, how's it going? Send an email. Reply to an email. And that's, really, that's better suited for like texting.
Yeah,
or
it's
something
not.
like
It's
that.
not what email really is based around, right? So what they've gone and put together is this new messaging system that kind of synergizes email, text, and chat
Yes.
into one kind of mishmash. So you're going to end up with like your conversations mapped between you and your friends.
Yes.
In one kind of ongoing conversation.
And if I gather it right, if you converse via text and via chat and via email, it's all going to be in the same thread.
Yeah, so like if you have me on Facebook and you've got my cell phone number and you've got my
email address.
Email address.
If I send you an email, you're going to get it on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you reply via text, I'm going to get it in the same thread on Facebook, and then I
Yeah.
can respond in Facebook and you'd get it.
Yeah,
and it'll all
so-
be there, which really actually is a great concept.
For sure.
I think there's definitely a benefit to adopting email in that way, or at least getting your Facebook.com email
Well, that's
address.
so what's going to happen is everyone's going to get a Facebook.com email address if you want it. You don't necessarily need it
no,
to use this.
you can import your currently
Yeah.
existing Facebook
Yeah.
or email accounts.
Yeah, and it also integrates with chat, which a lot of people they didn't advertise, but like if you're sitting there and you send me a text or whatever, and it shows up on Facebook in that conversation, it pops up in the chat thing, so you immediately get it, so you can respond.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. It kind of it takes all the forms of communication and just makes them one.
It's a really good example of integration.
It's what Google Wave should have been.
Yes. But unfortunately, Google Wave didn't have the background of being Facebook to start with.
No, well, that's the thing is they've
So-
got their friends list already established, so it's really easy to bring all that information in.
Yeah.
The last thing they were saying is your email. They've got an automatic whitelist now. So basically, what they're kind of looking at is if you send me an email, I'm gonna want to read that before I want to read something the bank sent me or something Future Shop sent me or
Okay.
something like that. So they have what they call the main inbox, which is basically anything from your friends goes into that inbox.
Okay.
Everything else you get at your Facebook.com email goes into the other inbox.
Okay.
So you still get it, but it does not brought to your attention right away.
Yeah.
So it kind of filters it out, which I think is useful. It's kind of like Google's priority
It could
inbox
also
on
kind of-
crack.
Well, it could also kind of be a catch-22 because if like you get a bill and it's like Future Shop's like, hey, you owe us this money, and then you don't really notice it because you're not focusing on that inbox, and all of a sudden it's like, damn, I should have read that email, you know?
I kind of hope you're not using your Facebook email for
Well-
things like that, but I know people will.
Yes. And I think the other thing too is it's still not suited for someone professionally. You're not going to use the Facebook's email system
for sure.
to go and send, a business whatever.
Business period is still operated over email, and I think
Regular
it
email.
will be for a long time
Yeah.
because it adds. It's like the letter of the electronic communication, right?
Yes.
It's a little bit more formal, even
A little
if
bit
it's
more
not.
legitimate.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's pretty cool. They're going to start rolling it out slowly.
You can sign up to
Get-
ask for it
yeah,
at this point.
yeah.
So if you are interested in it,
Yeah, you can check it out. I'm definitely going to snag my name at facebook.com.
yeah, I might try and do that too.
Just to get it and piss all the other Scotch champagnes off, which is what happened when I got my domain, which is very cool. But you know, if that's something you're interested in, Facebook's rolling it out for you.
More web news. Google Docs is finally able to be edited on mobile devices.
Yeah, so if you hadn't noticed, if you tried to use your iPod Touch, your iPhone, your iPad, your iPad, any mobile device, you actually couldn't edit the doc.
Including Android phones.
Yeah, Android phones, Blackberries, Palm Pre, anything.
Yeah.
You couldn't edit the documents. You could read them, which to me it almost reduces it's useless.
Yes.
Like, yeah, maybe you want to look up something quickly, but you can't edit, right? So you couldn't work on a document or something like that. So finally, they've released it, and originally they said it was going to work for iPad and Android, but also ends up working for iPhone and iPod Touch and everything.
Yeah.
So finally, you can edit your Google Docs if that's something you use on your mobile platform, which is very...
You know, we all use it for the show. It's how we organize our show notes and everything like that. So we're happy to see it, although it's
Yeah.
kind of like,
Finally.
what took you so long?
Yeah.
Welcome to Web 2.0.
Welcome to Why Wasn't There at launch.
Yeah. That's Google for you, though.
Yeah, they took the time, but I mean, it's there, and it's implemented pretty well. I was playing around with it today, so thank you, Google.
So speaking of mobile devices, if you were, didn't really want to buy the iPad because Apple's products aren't your thing and you're waiting for Android to do something, the Samsung Galaxy Tab is now available in Canada.
Yeah, so actually we got that pretty quickly
We did.
compared to normal.
Normally we're like a couple months behind the
Yeah, we're
US,
like
and now we're pretty much on parity.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So if you want to pick up a Galaxy Tab in Canada, right now Rogers is currently selling it. So you can actually, if you can find one in the Rogers store, I don't think they have large stocks.
That's Rogers. They don't really have large stocks of anything important.
Yeah. To get an iPhone 4, I would recommend going to the Apple store, not a Rogers store.
Yeah.
But if you want to try and pick one up, you can go to a Rogers store that does sell them. Check on the website first, because not all the stores will sell them at all. So you want to make sure you're going to a store that actually is going to stock it. I think it's $549.
$539 on contract,
for 3 years.
and $740 or
$775.
yeah, something like that.
Off
Seven
contract.
something.
So hefty if you're going off contract.
Yes.
And that's for the 16 gig model. On contract, not bad.
Now again, the Samsung Galaxy Tab, not a really
No.
well reviewed product.
Not a. Yeah, I don't think it's really.
I think honestly, if you're looking for something that isn't the iPad right now, I'd hold off and find out what RIM's going to do with the playbook.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be a much more interesting product and possibly a more capable product than what Samsung's offering with the Tab right now.
And I think what we want to do is for Android tablets, wait until the Google Android Marketplace is approved for tablets.
Yeah, because right now, if you get a tablet, you can't buy any applications.
You're that Google sanctioned marketplace is only available on Google sanctioned devices, which a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can get apps, but not out of that big bank. You got to find them yourself and install them yourself. Some of them are doing, like, I'm sure Samsung has an app store specifically for
Yeah.
their tab, but you know it's going to be a lot smaller than what the greater Android app store is. So, I mean, if you want to check it out, it is a 7-inch tablet. It's a good form factor. It's decent hardware. I've heard mixed things about its usefulness. But to each their own. So you can check it out from Rogers. And Bell's going to have it in the coming weeks. Probably next 2 or 3 weeks, Bell should have it as well. Similar prices.
So, were you someone who was interested in OnLive? If so, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
But more seriously, now OnLive is giving a micro console, or is making available a micro console.
As of December 2nd, they're going to start shipping the micro console. So if you don't know what OnLive is, it's basically video game streaming. So instead of having a really good computer and having to upgrade all the time and running the game on your system, OnLive renders the game for you on their servers, and then basically
streams
just
it back to you.
streams a video of it to you, more or less.
Yes.
And then you have the controls, obviously, because you have to play. And there's been lots of comments and things about this, because it's going to be like, well, it's going to be laggy.
Yeah.
I mean, internet video is not even good streaming, really, yet.
Yeah.
So people are kind of skeptical. I tried the demo on my PC. Now, I've got a 25 megabit internet connection, and it was unplayable. Could have been just the game. Could have
Maybe.
been the time of day. I don't know. I tried to load another game, and it just wouldn't load, so I just had a bad experience with it.
Yeah.
But other people are reviewing it and saying it's playable. So what they've come to do is, basically, right now, it's PC Mac only.
Yeah.
So what they've done is release a micro console so you can play it on your HD TV.
Okay.
So it's basically a jobby about this big. It's got HDMI out. It's got component out. It'll pump up to 60 frames per second, 1080p, streamed from their servers, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Right now, it's only doing stereo audio. They say surround sounds to come, and eventually they're going to start doing Dolby and all that kind of STS and that kind of stuff, which
So
would be nice.
it's a good option if the computer you have at home you really don't want to use for gaming, because it's a family computer or something, or you really don't use a computer all that much and you'd rather have it plugged into a TV. It's a good alternative for someone instead of them having to go out and buy sort of a bare bones computer to actually
For
play
sure.
it on.
Yeah, so it's $99. It comes with that,
Which
little-
is really well priced considering what it's
Quite
claiming
good.
to do.
Quite good.
So
now that you still have to pay a subscription to get access to the games.
Yes.
But for the hardware, that's reasonable. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's like Apple TV money, so that's and you get a controller with it, very similar to an Xbox controller with some slight modifications. It's not exactly the same. It's kind of like a hybrid Xbox PS3 controller. And they're also touting that they're going to be upgrading this firmware for this stuff. They're going to be adding things like surround sound, like I was saying. They're going to be adding things like media streaming capabilities.
that's cool. I mean, if they add
So-
some media streaming capabilities, $99 if it can do all the major formats. That's
Yeah, because a lot of people were saying right on the front of the controller is play, pause, next track, previous track,
Yeah.
whatever. And they were like, well, that's definitely not for gaming.
Yeah,
And they're like, yeah, there's some stuff coming.
which is kind of cool.
So I'm probably, I wouldn't be surprised to see Netflix on there. I wouldn't be surprised to see, streaming over your LAN. It's got USB ports that aren't charging the controller, but
Yes.
those could be used for hard drives, things like that. So I mean, if the gaming's your thing, it's like Netflix style. So you pay a month and you stream all the games you want. Or you can rent games if you don't want to pay monthly. You can pay per game,
Okay.
kind of thing, for certain periods of time. Or you can pay to just play that game all the time. So it's kind of payment options are fairly flexible, which I thought was pretty good.
And the pricing seems right for the console for sure.
Yeah, and with that, you also get a free game
Oh, that's cool.
for the $99. You can play all the trials as well as you pick one game to play for free.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I think maybe 10 years this will be probably where gaming's going to go.
Maybe even sooner. Maybe like 5.
Yeah, I think a lot of the problems is it's not accessible to people without bandwidth. They say you need at least, to do 1080p on a big TV, you're going to need at least 5 megabits down.
Okay.
I probably want more.
Yeah.
Just to be
Probably want
comfortable.
double that.
Especially if other people are sharing your connection.
Yeah.
If someone's like downloading something or browsing the web, you don't want to have frames dropped, especially if you're playing multiplayer. I mean, it's multiplayer lag when you're rendering on your PC is bad enough.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely interesting, something to keep your eye on. So once they hit the masses on December 2nd, I'll be curious to see what the opinion is.
See how many people pick it up.
Yeah, review units are always,
Iffy at best.
yeah. So we'll see. And
All right. Well, that wraps up Tech Insight this week. And we'll be right back.
It's kind of alive!
Nah, it's still dead.
Oh. Hi everyone, and welcome to Mad Science. So we got a couple of stories for you this week, and they're not robots this time.
And they're both Star Trek related.
They really are. Ignore my hand. It was an explosion. It's getting fixed.
It was a horrible accident. Don't worry about it.
I don't want to think about it anymore.
So, first up,
First up, yeah, they've figured out how. Now, they've created antimatter for quite some time now. Here's the thing. They finally figured out at CERN how to capture it
Sweet.
for about a tenth of a second. But it doesn't matter. They've captured it for a longer period of time than they ever have before.
Cool.
So basically, they found a way of making or creating 38, which is a kind of weird number to me.
Ah.
But whatever, 38 anti-hydrogen atoms, because what they did was they created, I believe it was 10 million positrons and then 700 million antiprotons. Yes, I believe that's how it went. And what they've done is they constructed the anti-hydrogen atoms.
Okay.
And then it was not really a matter of making them and, oh, look what we've done, because they've done that forever. And then they go, poof, big flash of light, and they're gone.
Yeah.
So, what's the practical upshot of this? They figured out how to hold on to it for a short period of time, but that doesn't matter.
Very short.
It
But it's a
only
start.
means, it's a start. It means they can make the duration longer. So they were able to hold it in a magnetic bottle, as they called it, which is basically, they described it as saying, atoms are electrically neutral, or that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Is to become neutral. However, they do have a magnetic field of sorts, is how it's described. And this can be actually manipulated by using, of course, a magnet. They can actually, CERN has figured out how to use magnetic fields to kind of hold everything together, and they kind of force them into this trap and hold them there for a while.
And obviously, since it's antimatter, you can't hold it in conventional means.
Exactly, because as soon as antimatter touches matter, poof, it's gone.
So the magnetic bottle basically just
Suspends it.
keeps it in there without touching anything.
Trick is, though, they have to slow the atoms down. So they have to literally take the speed at which they're traveling and which they move, slow it down so it'll stay within the field long enough to get trapped. And then, of course, stay in that field.
Does this happen
long
by
enough.
super cooling them?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't remember the digit off my head. Scotty had it, and
I think it's 240 something degrees Kelvin,
Yeah.
I believe, but
anyway,
100%
interesting
sure.
story.
4 Kelvin.
Thank you.
4 Kelvin.
4 Kelvin, says
Thanks.
Scotty. Anyway, so we're getting along with this. Star Trek is almost on the way for the wave warp drive, because remember, that's how it powered it. Almost. The next story we're going to be talking about quickly is another Star Trek sort of related thing.
sort of.
Cloaking technology, which is kind of neat. It uses a modified or customized fiber optic, according to the researchers who are creating this in London. And, well, you had the best analogy for it.
So in the article, they had the analogy of how this works would be if you picture a busy street, so you had a busy street, lots of cars, and the observer, the person wearing the cloaking device would be crossing the street, but the cars would be stopping for the guy wearing the cloaking device so he can cross the street properly. But the observer wouldn't see him crossing the street. He wouldn't see the crosser at all. He would just keep seeing the cars as if nothing ever happened.
So it's an interesting way to think of it. It's kind of confusing. You should check our show notes and actually find the article in there. There's a link, and read it through. It's very interesting.
This doesn't work by bending light necessarily. It works differently. It makes a lot of sense in the article if you actually just go through it.
It's confusing. I have read it about 5 times throughout the night and throughout the day, and I still don't totally get it. But check it out. Very neat.
Very neat.
We'll be cloaking our spaceships very soon. We'll
Very
beat the Klingons, hopefully. So that's it for Mad Science.
Welcome Behind the Lens, everybody. We've got some pretty cool stuff to talk about. But first, the news.
So Sony, a little while ago, came out with their new F3, which was supposed to be, you know, the game-changing camera, interchangeable lenses, something like the AF100, but then, like, it's 20 grand. And everyone's like, oh,
And everyone's
what?
like, AF100 sounds pretty good.
So the F3 is actually a pretty nice camera. We watched some video of it today. This is what it looks like. It's designed to be a professional camera for all intents and purposes. It is using what they're calling an S35 sensor, so the sensor is as big as full frame.
Okay.
Super 35 millimeter film. And what they're doing is they're selling it right away with a PL adapter, so you can use cinema lenses on it, and it's also coming with a Sony F adapter that they're doing. So you can buy it body only, I think, for like 16 grand, and then there's something for like 22, which comes with 3 prime lenses in the Sony series.
Okay.
So those are supposed to be, again, cinema quality lenses. It's recording in high quality 10-bit 4:2 color space, and we watched some footage, and you know, you and I both agreed the footage was spectacular.
It's gorgeous.
There's no noise in low light, and it's really nice. So for the professional, you know, someone was like, it makes a great B cam, and it was like, what's 20 grand B cam? But if you're actually shooting with a Sony F35, which is their, you know, $70,000 or I think even possibly more pro camera that, you know, is used in Hollywood production,
then it is a great.
good B cam. Otherwise, if you decide to get an F3, then your B cam could be the new NX cam, which we've got a picture of here. Yes, it's a box with a lens on it. So the difference being with the NX cam is that they're using Sony's NEX series of lenses.
Yeah.
So what their VG10 had, and obviously adapters and all that kind of stuff. They've really kind of gone with the whole, it's a box. Why would you need more of a box? You're gonna put on a rig or something like that, anyways. Not a whole lot of details about the NX cam right now.
Yeah, the Sony
outside of-
site's a little bit.
Yeah, outside of the picture of it, and a rough price point of around $6,000. So that one's going more aggressively after the Panasonic
For
AF100
sure,
camera, and ultimately it is a bigger sensor. Now, there's been some rumors that it's got the same S35 sensor that's in the other camera, but I don't think that's the
Probably
case.
not in that big of a price
I
difference.
think they're using their NEX size sensor, but with more back-end processing.
Yeah.
So, if you weren't a big fan of the AF100 and you were looking for Sony's option for it, there's some cool stuff coming for sure. And you know what? Next year is going to be, I think, in my opinion, an interesting year for cinematography because I think Canon's going to probably jump in the game, and maybe we'll see Panasonic's higher-end version of their AF100. So there could be some really cool technology coming. However, in order to use that technology, you do need to have some pretty decent rigs, and that's what we're showing off today. So we got a bunch of Cinovate gear that we managed to get a hold of. So there's a handful of products that we've got here. First, you're looking at this guy right here. Now this is sort of a combination of multiple products.
It's quite a few different things. Yeah.
So right here at the front of the rig, we're looking at basically the HD DSLR core system, which is a mounting rig, and on the other side you've got a nice follow focus wheel, so you can do your focus tracking and everything like that. You'll have to excuse the wobbliness. We've got this on cheap light stands, which is like the worst idea ever. But it's all mounted to their Atlas 30 slider. So this allows you to do really great tracking motion shots when you want to basically film across something. It can be a really great tool to just add a different look or perspective.
For sure.
And it's a really good way to bridge into scenes and stuff like that. So the Atlas 30 slider goes for about $1,500. It's really well built. It's ball bearings inside.
The slide's very smooth, very easy to control, and
Yeah. It also comes with a 100 mil bowl at the bottom, so you can do a quick bowl release to level it out if you're shooting on more difficult surfaces. They've also got these really cool, they call all-terrain feet, which will independently level out. So if you're shooting on uneven ground, you can sort of level out this as well. But if you need to set up a rig for your camera, that's when you start looking at the HD DSLR system. So they've got the Titan swing away matte box on the front here. This guy just basically opens up, which allows you to change your filters and things like that. And it'll just swing right back down, click into place. Really convenient when you need to drop in new filters.
really easy, really quick. Yeah.
Yeah. On the back of the camera here, we've got the Cyclops system. So the Cyclops is their new viewfinder, which essentially has a magnified window in the front here, which magnifies the screen that you're seeing. But it's also got a pretty large area that you can actually put your face in.
And that's the thing I liked about this one compared to some of the other ones we looked at a little while ago, was I didn't have to it wasn't for one eye like traditional video cameras. I could just kind of casually look in. You know, the light was blocked out because it does have that little bit of a scope, but it was just a little easier to use, a little less cumbersome. And it's still very crisp. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's kind of cool about it is they use basically a multiplying lens here, which is a 77mm thread. So you can actually take this off and put it on the front of your lens, and then your lens has a magnifier to it, so you can do a little bit more macro style shots with it, which is sort of a neat feature altogether. The Cyclops hood that you're looking at here with the sled to attach to the camera, you're looking at about $500 for that, which is on par with you know, the Zacuto Z Finder, which is what it's directly competing with, and ultimately I think you get a bit more for your money with the Cyclops, which is a cool option. This HD DSLR rig, the core rig goes for about $2,700, and that does include their Duris follow focus unit. And then we've got it on a 501 head here, but you can really use any sort of professional video head with that. The other product we had to show you guys is their smaller shoulder rig. So this is the Uno, which is kind of designed for run and gun videography.
Yeah, it's got like a little...
When this is way too much to show up with.
Yeah.
That's where this
It's
guy
a lot
comes into play.
smaller. It's kind of literally this. That's... You know?
Yeah, so it's got a quick release plate here, using the same quick release that they use on their HD DSLR rig, so you can switch between them pretty easily. It'll click into place, made up with the follow focus unit. Everything's adjustable and everything works on cinema rails, so you can take parts of this off and attach them to here and vice versa. So everything's very customizable based on what your needs are.
Which is good, because then you can make it nice and comfortable for yourself.
Yeah. You're looking at about $1,000 for this rig, which... in my opinion, is a bit pricey, but again, everything's customizable, so if you do decide to buy more rigs in the future, and most rigs you're going to have cinema rails, so this stuff's going to get used. Also keep in mind that this follow focus is worth a pretty couple $100 itself. Actually, I think this rig's more like $2,000 and not $1,000, but that's because this is about $800. So either way, it's a cool option. I think my biggest gripe with it is it's a bit heavy to hold.
It's heavy to hold without an SLR on it.
Yeah.
It's a little. Well, I mean, it's well built. I mean, it's not overly heavy.
No.
But once you start putting on, your 60D or your D7000 or whatever, you throw a lens on there, it's going to be a little cumbersome to hold around with one hand.
I think it's really...
You could stabilize, I guess, but it's...
I think it's designed for that shoot and go kind of situation where you have a scene you need to film where you might be tracking or whatever, and so you're going to film that scene and then you're going to put it down. Like, you might be shooting with it for 10, 15 minutes at a time.
I think it definitely has its purpose.
Yeah.
But, I mean, compared to...
You wouldn't use it if you were out shooting all day for
for
wedding
sure.
videography
For
or
sure.
something like that. It's really more for guerrilla style filmmaking, event photography, that kind of stuff. So overall, some cool gear. Cinemate makes some really great stuff. It's also Canadian, which is awesome.
All Canadian, yeah.
They're based out of Thunder Bay. So you can pick it up at a couple different locations, and they do have more than what we're showing you here, but that's just a little bit
taste.
of Cinemate's gear. So again, this is the Atlas 30 slider, their HD DSLR core rig, their Cyclops viewfinder, and their Uno rig, which is just a couple of cool products from Cinemate. And that wraps up Behind the Lens this week.
So that brings us to the end of the show for this week. As always, if you want to contact us about what's in the show, or if you think there's something we should review or look at or something like that, you can email us at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
Or you can follow us on Twitter. We're almost_Friday. We're going to be posting what's new, what's happening in the studio, if we're going out to conventions, stuff like that, where we're going to be. You can follow us at almost_Friday on twitter.com. So until next time, make sure that stuff just stays classy all the time.
Boo.
I know. You want to redo that? I had nothing.
I know.